Alrighty, good evening, everybody. Welcome, YouTube and Facebook. I'm your host, Justin Rich of the Countless Vlogcast. My guest today is Doe Knowz. He's a rapper and activist. He's going to tell us a little about music and activism, and I'm going to bring him right on. So, all right, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? How
So,
y'all
tell us
doing?
a little about yourself, man. What got you into music?
Oh man, what got me into music? I say at a young age, just I think hip hop was kind of just getting started as a wave. I mean, back in the early '90s and stuff like that, when I was a kid, that was the new thing. You know, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, I think, was the first real thing I heard. Nothing but a G thing as a kid, where I was just like, oh man, what's this? So just started listening from there and just started freestyling with friends and stuff, and just basically, you it leads up to you getting in the studio and writing, and songwriting was something that was good for me. So it helped, and eventually it just ruined the artistry, and actually recording music and selling.
That's dope. That's dope, man. That's dope. So, with activism too, how did that come about with music too? Was that after the music when you first started taking off with that?
I mean, activism to me, that began actually in college for me. I went to Central State University, which is a HBCU in Wilberforce, Ohio. So for me, going down there, to throw shot put for the track team, I went to a very diverse school system here in Albion, Michigan. So therefore, I had a diverse situation. I already knew how to conduct myself in a diverse situation. So going to HBCU was going to be a new experience for me. So when I went down there, I was always into Malcolm X. Uh, Always wondered why, Martin Luther King was the one that we followed and not Malcolm. Um, I'm one of those people that always just kind of thought that way. So when I took an African American history class at Central State University, and my teacher, Dr. Dungy, started talking about that situation in those two leaders, and some of the things I learned about Martin Luther King, that were true, and his infidelities with his wife, with Coretta, and everything like that, and cheating on her and everything. My perspective that I had since I was a child about Malcolm X was kind of spot on. That he was more of a moral guy, you know what I mean? Somebody that really had interest of the people at heart, and look how he treated his wife and his family. And you can tell a lot about a person from that. So when I started learning more about it, it's like, wow, my mind isn't as open, because you hear about the civil rights movement, and you hear about that particular time, which was a great thing. They did great things, you know what I mean? They brought about changes, and that's great. You know what I'm saying? We applaud that. I'm from Michigan, so Rosa Parks, was right in Detroit for years, so we know about our leadership at the National History Museum. The Black History Museum is in Detroit also. So we have those things available to us, but we did not find out everything about our heroes and stuff like that in school until I got to college. So the activism at that point started when I realized that things had changed a little bit, and I'm a part of the class of 9/11 also. So I was my first week of college. 9/11 happened. So I got to witness the change in the world, and that change in the world led to a lot of budget cuts and things like that. So at our school, and when things started getting cut off, and we noticed that there were necessities that we needed to succeed as Black students, that's when we, would march on campus and walk out of class and stuff like that, and really protest and go on the news. And we was like real adamant about getting our issues out there. And we went as far as, to contact the press and the media. And that's the same thing that I started using. That's what I used when I chose to, Black Lives Matter, the movement here, in my hometown. That's the same thing that I chose to do. I was like, you know what, I'm going to get the media involved, because it's more than just, people have to know about it. People have to see it and see what we're doing and seeing what we're saying. And I got issues. I had a list of issues that we wanted to go out and over. So that, activism, but that's what got me started was, being in college at a Black college, and actually learning about rights and wrongs in, protest, and everything that you could bring about, just by a simple nonviolent protest. That's why, the civil rights movement was effective. But nowadays, I feel like activism has to be more action plans. I feel like activism is cool, protests are okay, but protests don't mean nothing if nothing is getting achieved. And since my protest, I actually was able to have a meeting with the Albion College president, which is the local college here. and they run most of everything around here. Of course, it's a small town. So I'm from a town of 8,000 people. So with that being said, having a college here, they're the most, adequate people to help and to make things happen. So with that being said, that whole thing, getting everybody involved in activism, that's where it comes from.
It's really dope, man. You got a lot going on, man, with activism too. So, with that being said, all the youth out there that are protesting and standing the ground out here, any advice for them too? Because I know you said like from the street to like the doing behind the scenes stuff too. So just talk a
Right.
little about that too. Like just
Yeah.
want to dip into that too. That'd be great.
As far as the youth, I love it. We had students at Marshall High School, which is our local high school that they attend. Most of our students attend, and they had a Black Lives Matter protest at their school, which is a predominantly white school. Albion Public Schools is where I graduated from in 2001. But Albion Public Schools was shut down in 2013, part of the school of choice thing that happened here in Michigan, where you could go wherever your parents could get you, you could go to school. So the districts got kind of like wherever you wanted to go, and when that happened, that took a lot of our students away. As we like to say, it was called white flight. All the white, all the white people, you know what I'm saying, sent their kids to different schools to go to school. So effectively, that closed Albion down over the years. Where at one point, Albion Public Schools, when I was in school, was the top 100 public schools in the United States of America. School of choice dwindled our school down to nothing, and now our kids go to Marshall, which was a predominantly white school, as I said, and it still is very systemic. Racism is all in the mix over there, and it's a bad situation for our kids. But at the same time, our youth are fighting for that. Our youth are doing something about that. So my advice to the youth: keep fighting for it. Don't give up. Just like President Obama said, the protests, when they stop, change won't happen. You got to keep going.
That's dope, man. So let's talk about the Superior March. You led in March.
Yeah.
Superior March, yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit. To what
Yeah.
what led to that too? Talk about like planning and all that too. If you go in depth with that, too, that'd
it
be great.
was it was crazy because it was so spontaneous, and I was one of the people on the front lines as an artist, wondering why our town, which is 34% black, I think 34 or 43% black. I don't know if that's but we're a predominantly black almost town. So here in Calhoun County, and we are the most, it's the most minorities here in the whole county. So people were talking about it. Marshall actually held a protest in Marshall first, and they marched downtown Marshall for Black Lives Matter, and everybody's like, where's Albion? What happened with Albion? Why isn't Albion protesting? What's going on? And I seen one of the posts, and me being an artist, a local artist, I said I was wondering the same thing, what's going on, and Jerry Lashley was actually my co-chair when everything went on. So it was more of a challenge from Jerry Lashley, like, well, Doe, why don't you do it? And I'm like, I wouldn't have a problem doing it. Most definitely, let's do it. And when Superior March, when we talked about doing it, I made a poster just out the blue, just like I would do if I was putting out a song or something. I put out a poster and let people know on Juneteenth is when we chose to do it. We wanted to give 2 weeks. I was like, I'm gonna give it 2 weeks, so everybody knows about it. Ain't no excuse. So I didn't know about it, so they didn't show up. And what we did, we planned for that 2 weeks. We got donations, and we were able to get PPE and plenty of water and ice, for people to be hydrated that day. It was 90 degrees, like the hottest day of the year at that point for Juneteenth. So it was 90 degrees, and we still had our face mask and our PPE and everything like that. But the 2 weeks leading up to it, the chief of police actually came by my house, and my godson came in, and he's like, he lives here with me, and he come and tell me like, somebody wants to talk to you at the front door. And I'm like, why are you looking like that? Like, what you talking about? So it's funny to me. I'm like, what do you mean? And so I step out, and it's the chief of police, Scott Kipp. And Scott Kipp has um, a parade application in his hand, pre-approved, already pre-approved. You want to do a Black Lives Matter march? I'm all for it. I supported the local police department and gave me the clearance to do it, and asked me how I wanted to do it. And I put down how I wanted to do it, which the Albion Water Tower was the meeting point, where I wanted everybody to meet, congregate, talk about the problems. The media was able to be there, and we had 3, 4, 5 different media outlets that were there. The president of Albion College attended. Coach Milton Barnes from Jackson High School, he attended. He is also a coach at Albion High School, took us to the state championship against Chris Webber's Detroit Country Day in 1990. He was there. So we have a lot of people that supported us in the businesses. Surprisingly, everybody I went to, nobody was against it. Everybody was for it. Everybody wanted to support it and know what they could do to help. So it ended up being just a great deal for everybody, and it was peaceful. We protest. We walked down the street with around 100 protesters down Superior Street, which is M99, which is a state highway. So that was another big deal, that we got a state highway shut down for us to march down, legally. You know what I'm saying? So everything that came together beautifully. It was all done on donations from the local businesses and people that just took interest in our fundraiser. We had over 500 members to our group page, all in the 2 weeks leading up to the march. And when we had the march, it was just a beautiful day, beautiful scene. People out by the road all the way till we got ready to march. They were out by the road with the Black Lives Matter flags and shirts on, and everybody was just having a great time. White people and black people all mixed up together, all supporting what we seen, that needed to happen. So when it happened, it was a great thing. We didn't have any city council members there. There were the mayor wasn't there. We had police protection. Earlier in the week, protest in Jackson actually somebody got ran over by somebody drove through the protest and hit people. So the Albion police had a whole safety plan to make sure that couldn't happen to us where we were marching. So it was awesome, the whole thing, the whole experience. I got to speak. Jody Brown was running for mayor, got to speak. Scott Brown, he's a U.S. Military veteran. He spoke. We had Gabe Gibson. He did a song called Justice, and he's a friend of mine. He's a local Albion artist too. So he performed. It was just a great day. My kids got to be there. Other people brought their kids out because it was that kind of event. It was more of we have issues that we want addressed protest than it was we're going to burn the city down if you don't listen to us protest, which was exactly what I wanted. Exactly what I wanted. I want you to hear our issues, and I want an action plan. So later on, that led to a meeting with Albion College's president as one of the minority leaders here in Albion, which was an honor to even be considered a minority leader here in my city, being an artist, being somebody that I feel like kids can look up to, because I think my last few songs up until my latest song, which is more of a party song, I didn't have any curse words. It was all inspiring. It's all supporting people that are suffering, So when they seen that, and then when I did this, the support crossed over. I was able to use my platform to actually bring people out, bring the media out. And it's a major goal of ours also to change Calhoun County, which you see John Calhoun's statue was taken down in South Carolina. One of his famous quotes was, "Slavery was a positive good." And our county is named for him. It's Calhoun County. So Sojourner Truth lived in Battle Creek, Michigan, which is Calhoun County. And she died in Battle Creek, Michigan. And we want the county name changed, and we're seeking legislation in the state of Michigan to change the county's name to Truth County for Sojourner Truth, which will be the first U.S. county named after an African American, period. And the ball is rolling, and I think it's possible.
Okay, great. So since that March, what have you seen changed, and what like positive have you seen changed, and like towards your like demands? Have you seen like the results you wanted yet? Or are you seeing like a progress
It's
towards that? You
it's a
seeing progress?
it's a marathon. I think it's totally a marathon with all the issues we have with the school closing. We want a new school. We need a hospital. Our hospital closed down. Our major industry was the Albion Malibu company, and when the Albion Malibu company left, everything else started to dwindle away right after, the hospital, then the schools. So Albion wasn't left with much of anything. The whole block of minority businesses that once stood on Austin Avenue are crumbling to the ground. They did nothing to help save those buildings or keep that community thriving. And it's sad because it's possible. The one thing that I can say positively that came out of it is that Albion College wants to help with all these things. So it's a great move to work with Albie in college and try to get some of these things done and instill things in motion. But because of COVID-19, we had to kind of pump our brakes. We want our people safe. So the things that we're working on, we're still, just corresponding with people and making sure the ball is rolling and that people are actually interested in these things. But with COVID-19, we haven't done any more protests. We're trying to have voter registration drives, but even that is kind of hard to get people out to because people are still scared, and it's a different society. And I just, I hope in November that, however people choose to vote, whether it's from home or get to the polls, man, we still want to encourage people to get out and vote. And I'm not for one party or the other. I think we see it for ourselves. That what we got going on right now ain't for us. That's not American, and that's not the America that we all know and love. That's not making America great again at all. And just like I said, whoever you choose to vote for, just make sure that that's a person that knows the job that's ahead of him, and not a person that just wanted a title.
Great. So that's really awesome, man. Which everything you're doing, man. So let's transition a little bit. Talk about your music a little bit. Some of the stuff you've been working on recently too. And has it been inspired by your work on the front lines too?
Yeah, most definitely. I have a song I'm doing called Bad Vibes, and I put a sample out to it on Facebook, just so people can hear what I'm working on. But it's most definitely dedicated to the movement. It's just telling a story, basically of what I think every black man has encountered from time to time, and that's just the story of the overly aggressive cop, the cop that pulls you over and instantly is just on the wrong thing. You know what I mean? And you may be a positive person like myself, and just because I rap, you know what I'm saying, or wear jewelry or something like that, that doesn't make me a person that is any harm to you. I'm not a threat to you. And that's basically what I'm presenting on that song. But the Bad Vibes song, the first verse is speaking to that. The second verse is speaking to black on black violence and what we're doing to ourselves. I've seen more murders here recently during the Black Lives Matter movement during such a crucial time in our history. What I'm seeing is us killing each other seem like more than ever. We've been stuck in the house, and now that we out the house, that's what we're doing. We're killing each other. So I don't like that stigma. So I most definitely want to speak to that, as well as Black Lives Matter. Black Lives gotta, we want it to matter to white people. We want it to matter to Americans in general. Let's say that, not just white people. And we want Black Lives to matter. We most definitely gotta show that it matters to us. Because if it don't matter to us, who does it matter to?
So let's talk to the youth for now, like a little bit. Cause you could speak to the youth right now too, because the youth are like hurting. They're like, I mean, I don't know where to turn to. Like a lot of times, the youth like get overlooked too. Like they're on the front lines too, but a lot of times they're just like struggling too. So if you get some words inspiration for the youth, that'd be great. And how you want to inspire them?
Yeah. As far as the youth, how you say, how do I want to inspire that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, yeah. What I want to do, guys, get back in the house now. What as far as inspiring the youth, man, what I want to do is inspire education. Like Greatness was a song that I came out with recently, and my song Greatness was speaking to my hopes and dreams for my children, and it was speaking to the youth as a whole because I put it out as a song, and I said every parent should listen to this and understand that it's something that you should want for your kids too. And in my song Greatness, I just spoke on my kids getting an education and not needing for anything from anyone, and just being independent and knowing that you're beautiful within yourself, and things like that. These are the things that I want to express, and I want the youth to know that you're beautiful. I want them to know that you're gonna go through depressions. It's gonna be hard times, but you got to pick yourself up, and keep moving. You see so many people commit suicide. You see youngsters commit suicide all the time, and it's just sad that that's the life that they chose. Nick Cannon's artist, I can't think of his name right now, but he just killed himself. And Nick Cannon is a person that talked about contemplating suicide just a couple days ago. Once he wanted to apologize for saying what he felt. Um, which I felt like after you got fired with apology, what is the apology gonna do? But just like I said, he was contemplating suicide himself, and then your artist did it. So you should think about that. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you even put that vibe out there, we want to most definitely encourage life. We don't want to encourage death. We done had enough death. I grew up in a gang environment too. I grew up hanging with GDs. You know what I'm saying? So them is my guys to this day. That's just how I came up. But at the same time, we don't want to see people dying. So many of us grew up and so many of us didn't. And the ones that grew up, we're supposed to inspire. And that's not inspiring us to live by talking about guns and drugs. I don't even talk about that. I can make good music without talking about that.
Great, great. So, to speak a little bit on the positive note, future you want to see in terms of Black community activism, and this like family and friends and all that too in your community.
What I would like to see is Black people be together. I'm sick of the separation. I think it's so much hatred. It's so much hatred within our own community, and we don't address it. We want to scream and cry every time something happened and police done kill somebody. We want to hoop and holler about it, but we're not accountable. We don't take accountability for our own community. A week after I did my march, just like I said, it was 100 protesters, half white. Um, they had a basketball game, which our park is famous for these basketball games, and because of COVID-19 and everything. But it wasn't even because of COVID-19 that our park we wasn't having basketball games. Okay, a couple guys got killed. Even though the guys that got killed and the guys that killed the guys wasn't from Albion, they shut down our basketball games at the park. So, like a week after that, after my protest, they had a basketball game at the park. 300 people out there without masks. 300 people. I'm fighting for y'all. Our mayor made a racist post during the pandemic, basically saying that Black people catch the virus because of shit like this. And it was a picture that he posted. It was a Chicago party that they had that made the news and shit. So sorry about cussing. I don't know if you allow
No,
that on
it's fine. It's rated R, man. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, but just like I said, with that, it's just crazy because it's like y'all gave him exactly what I'm fighting for him not to say about y'all. Y'all did it the next week after I had a protest, after y'all talked about how he made a post about coronavirus and everything. And it's like, then the next week, you contradict everything you saying about him by doing exactly what he said that we do. And ain't no telling how many people got the virus that was out there that day. They're not going to talk about it because then that makes them have to be accountable for their actions. So that kind of stuff like that, we got to be more accountable. We got to turn around and say Black Lives Matter, but they got to matter to us too. Put the guns down. Stop shooting each other. In Detroit last night at a Coney Island, like 4 people got shot. One dude died. They got a video on the internet. Some of these people family don't even know they family dead yet, but they probably done seen the video. And then when they hear about it from their family that he died last night, that was him. He was in the video. Then they're gonna feel crazy because it's like, wow, I watched the video not even knowing that was my family member. So we got to be more accountable for our actions and what we doing nowadays. Around here, we just had a shooting right here in Albion the same day of that basketball game. Somebody shot this guy car 44 times. Albion got 8,000 people in it. We don't have shit like that happen, but that happened the week after I had a protest for Black Lives Matter and trying to fight back against what we see as a racist mayor and so many other things. We turned around and gave them all the ammunition to shoot it right back at me.
Wow, man, this is that's tough, man. Like you got to be like honest about this stuff and trustful, but like words can only do so much, man. Like it's all about
Man,
action
that's
too,
it.
man. I mean,
Exactly.
we could do something. I can host this show, have people watch it, be inspired. You can go out and tell these people like what they need to do, but like people are accountable too, man. It's like it's gonna be time when we can't help everybody out. Unfortunately, too, we want to help community out, but like we gotta like I don't know, man. It's crazy out here, man.
It
There's
is,
solutions
man.
out here, but it's like it's easier said than done. That's the thing, though. Too people, their minds are so like low vibration. It's just like it's
Man,
sad, man.
I'm telling you, it's something else, bro. And just like I said, education is so important, man. People think it's illegal to pick up a book and read. There's so many self-educated people out here, man. I'm one of them. I went to Central State University. I didn't graduate from Central State University. I went for 2 years, but at the same time, college is expensive. It costs money, man. And some people just can't afford to keep on, paying that money to go to school. And there was other incidents that, most definitely made it where I wasn't going back to school. Let's say that. And the kids out here nowadays, you ask them what you want to do, where you want to go to school. They have no clue. They have no idea. And it's just like, man, that's sad because I remember we wanted to be things coming up. I think when I came out of high school, I was kind of set on being a sports therapist. You know what I'm saying? So I would be, if I wasn't playing sports professionally or anything like that, I would probably be on the sidelines, working. I want to work with a pro team or something like that and still be in the mix of athletics and help athletes out if I wasn't playing myself. So, I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I was interested in it, but I ended up going into communications when I got to school. I changed my major, communications, radio, and TV. I like to talk. I was very good at the communicating. I was very good at writing. Print journalism was something that kind of had me. And then you learn how dirty journalism is. You learn how dirty the media can be. And then you turn around and you say, do you really want to be a part of that media? Because and now it's so much change. Like you can be your own media now. Now, like this show right here, this is media, but this is your way. This isn't nobody's telling you how to do it. It's your thing, and that's what's up. That's what people want to see. That's what I want to see because that's honest. You want to see honest journalism, and coming from somebody like you, I would think it's more of an honest journalism than coming from NBC because somebody behind the scenes told him what to say.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. That's really mean
Yeah.
a lot too, man. So we'll talk about like, cause yeah, I studied television too, in my college too, but I
Okay.
unfortunately it hadn't worked out yet. But what turned that decision to music, man? Like, what was that like moment you were just like, oh, I have to be
Um,
like I say, professional. And I talk a little about like on two parts. Talk about that a little bit, that transition, and talk about like being an independent artist too. If you could speak on that, it'd be great.
right. Like when I think the thing that really at Central State University, being around people in the choir, being around people in the marching band, and I loved music. I always loved music. Music was something that I just always loved. Um, the choir people were so serious about their voices, so serious about being good at what they do. And the band was the same way. These guys would practice all night. They were so into it. They loved it. Um, and singing, was something that actually being in choirs in school before that I have been into. So singing wasn't something that I was new to. It was just nothing that I wanted to do because I wasn't really that kind of guy that would want to do that. But hip hop was different, But at Central State, I got an opportunity to work with Johnny B. Wilder. And Johnny B. Wilder was the lead singer of a group called Heat Wave in the 70s. And he wrote Always and Forever, which is a big standard, big hit. Um, and he was very proud of that. And he taught me a lot about the studio, how to record myself and stuff like that. So that was the start of me knowing and having knowledge of audio engineering and how to put my voice on a beat. That was the start of it. And then after that, coming back home, to Michigan, I was able to get in the real studios and do more when I got into the real studios and actually start writing my own songs. And that was the bread and butter. And the art of it, that the way it blended in, I did poetry interpretation when I was in high school, my senior year of high school. So doing poetry interpretation actually gave me a different idea of how to project my words and how to make them actually more meaningful and make an impact and make people pay attention because poetry interpretation was all about pulling people in through the poetry that you were reading. And so I was reading from The Rose That Grew from Concrete by Tupac Shakur because just like I said, I'm a hip hop head. So I when I they said you want to do poetry interpretation, yeah, but I'm not doing Maya Angelou or nothing, because I'm a guy. I can't do Nikki Giovanni. I'm a guy. So I need to do something. I still want to stick to my culture, to my black culture. So sticking to my culture and hip hop, I chose Tupac. And that's what allowed me to start understanding about how to use the words effectively and persuasively and bring people into it. So that was the art in it. And when you learn about music and you want to put out music, I did a freestyle for Double XL magazine in 2011, and it was a freestyle for Ready or Not, the Ready or Not app. So I got on the Ready or Not app, and I chose me a hot beat and flowed on there. And next thing you know, Shy Money XL, who was the president of G Unit, vice president of A&R at Def Jam at the time, um, he gave me a double XL rating. He gave me a double XL rating on it. So when he gave me the double XL rating, I thought that was what's up. I was like, man, that's a stamp, you know. So after that, actually in 2012, my best friend died. I actually got it tattooed on my arm right here, and he passed away. And from 2012 until 2014, I wasn't rapping at all. But 2014, I picked the mic back up, started writing, started really getting more back into it, and at that time, you know, and then just like I said, it became a thing. My daughter was born in 2014, so I was bound and determined that I not only was I gonna make a good song to put out there, it had to be commercially acceptable type music. I didn't just want to do, you know, be the local rapper. My aspirations was always to be global and to be somebody that, you know, would be looked at by labels, but effectively I was gonna make it very hard for a label. You know, I've talked to labels before and I'm just not interested in that quite yet. I still have a lot more to do. So I'm still working, you know, independently and trying to build my base up to a way that when they say it's, you know, they want me, they'll be able to pay me a fair, you know, a fair thing and give me a good contract, you know. And I don't want just your run of the mill 360. You know, if I do get signed, I want them to say you got your own base. We know that you don't need us. So as an independent, I think and in the spirit of Nipsey Hussle, you know what I mean? I think Nipsey should have taught every black artist something. And what he should have taught us is know your worth. Know your worth when you step to the door. Atlantic gave him what he wanted. You know, you can get that too if you're that persistent. So,
Okay, great. Yes, man. Nipsey's definitely an inspiration for all the hip hop heads out there. I'm being one of them. So,
most definitely.
who is your audience and your base reach?
Who was my audience? I would say hip hop. Just my hip hop audience is probably the one that keeps me moving because I did some of my songs Greatness and Push Through, The Fear of Falling. Those songs right there, I think, established me more in the hip hop realm. At first, when I first started off, it was Bangland Records, and I was more in a gangster rap vibe. I call myself a 90s retro artist. I still do call myself a 90s retro artist. That's kind of my vibe. You know, if you like 90s feeling hip hop, then that's what you're going to listen to me because I have that. That's the kind of real stuff I'm spitting. I want you to feel my music. You know, like when you heard Juicy for the first time by Biggie, I want you to have that same vibe when you listen to my music. Like, wow, I love what he's saying. I love what he's relaying to the people because it's a message to my people and it's just to keep them moving. You know, most definitely.
Okay, so how has this pandemic affected your creativity? Have you felt you more creative, or you felt like the same amount?
Man, I would say at first there was nothing there. I was just like, what the hell is going on? Like probably everybody else. And you just want to learn more about it and what was going on. And just like I said, it affected me at first, but then the downtime, once I came out of work, which I work as a line cook, you know, because cooking is my thing now. I cook. But just like I said, once I came out of work, it was either, it was like, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. That's what my grandmother used to say all the time. My idle mind is the devil's workshop. You got to stay busy. So that's all I could hear in my head. And I'm just like, man, okay, music it is. You know, so I ain't working. Let me jump into my music. And I was able to, and when I did that, I put out 3 singles back to back to back. And they was received good. My last one, 52,000 for Greatness. And Live It is already at almost 20,000, and that just came out last week, which is good for me as an artist because I'm not I'm an underground artist, so I don't expect to get big numbers. I'm happy people are listening, you know.
That's dope, man. So, this has been great, man. So, if you could end this with like a positive message to the world, there, your fans, audience, family, friends, that'd be great. And community.
Yeah. Well, my family and friends, I think what I would say to my family and friends is just stay 10 toes down, man. Keep your head up, 10 toes down. And as Nip would say, the marathon continues, man. You just keep it moving. And as far as I'll be in Michigan, we got a lot of changes to make. And people got to stand up for the right thing, stop standing on the wrong side of history. I say to people that believe in the conspiracy theories and want to be anti, but you don't stand for anything. You're not pro anything. That's self-defeating our community as a people. So we got to stick together. We got to band together and fight for something. And we all know what we want and what we need. So the only way that's going to happen is if everybody's on the same page and there's a large outcry for the same things. So with that being said, most positive thing I could say to people is stay steadfast and go after what you believe in. Don't give up. That's not the way to get it, and just keep going, man. But action has to be in place, as you said. Uh, it's all about action, man. If y'all ain't taking action, you just posting on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. It's just a post. That's not action. Action is actually talking to your state representatives and your senators and the people that matter, the people that can make change, the people that are in power that can effectively make the changes that you're asking for. Talk to those people. Don't keep talking to people on Facebook. Don't get twisted all up in that. Sometimes I do. I hate statements people make, but sometimes I just tell them what I know is right, and I'll leave it at that. And I think a lot of people need to get away from the arguing and get into the facts of the matter and just go for what's right.
Yeah, like you said, brother, it's easy to argue, but it's hard to get together, man. Once we get together, it's gonna be like united, man. It's gonna be like it's
Yeah,
over, man. Once we get united and figure out like mind over
that's all it
body,
is.
mind over soul, your soul, man. Once you get to that man point,
Yeah.
it's over, man. We're gonna go positive, man. I appreciate you coming on. So if you could just drop your website, your social medias, and all that, people can
Yeah,
find.
man. On YouTube, man, you can. I got my own official artist page, Doe Knowz, on YouTube. You can follow me on IG. I would really appreciate that. Trying to get my IG up is at Messino Way on IG, and you can follow me on LinkedIn. I do a lot of business on LinkedIn, man. It's Doe Knowz on LinkedIn too. So follow me on Spotify. Doe Knowz was Doe Messino actually on Spotify and Tidal and Apple Music and everywhere you listen to your music, man. Go listen to Don Messino. Go listen to Live It. That's my new song. It's a banger. It's something you can dance to, TikTok to, make a Snapchat to, do all of that. Hey, tag me, I'll shout you out. So most definitely just check me out on all those different platforms. I'm on most of your social media platforms, mostly under Doe Knowz, Messino Way on IG.
All right, man. Thank you, brother, for coming on, sharing your story, sharing
No
activism. That was
problem.
very powerful, man. Hope need more people like you, man, on the front lines, and more
Hey,
people
man.
behind you, support. So
Most definitely.
hopefully things get better in the next couple months, man. Like you said, it's a
Man.
marathon. Like you said, Nipsey Hustle, man. Like you said, the marathon, but we have to
Hey,
get through it, man. So just appreciate you
that's
coming
right.
on, man.
Thanks a lot, bro. I appreciate you having me.
And this has been the Countless Vlogcast with my guest, activist and musician, rapper, Doe Knowz. Thank you guys for watching. If you check it out, subscribe and Countless Vlogcast. You can watch this anytime, watch other videos too. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.